Heidi ho! Good morning. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful day for a Snow the Goalie live from our homes. Snow the Goalie this morning, and then of course, and we don't want people to forget, tonight is the Flyers versus Bruins Alumni Game. Bundy will be playing, and we'll be set up tonight with a special edition of the Press Row Show. Going to have some guests on tonight, so you get some Snow the Goalie in the morning, you get some Snow the Goalie at night, you get Snow the Goalie tomorrow during the game, and that's more than all right.
And so everybody's asking where Bundy is, just so everyone knows. They are having an actual morning skate today for the alumni game. So Bundy is over at the arena with all the alumni. They're skating. I think they go on the ice at 9:30, and then there's media availability after that and stuff. So it's kind of hard to get Bundy to come on when he has to practice. So we didn't want to let tonight or this morning go by. Coming off of last night's game, we're doing the morning after like we try to do after most road games. So it was it'll just be me and Russ this morning. So
it's this is the old school tandem.
Yeah.
We're kind of like if Torts ever goes to the 10 and 8, we're going to be the fourth pair. Right.
He went back to 12 and 6 last night.
How'd that work
out?
It's a Christmas miracle. We also, instead of calling this one a morning after, we called this one regular Snow the Goalie because there's more that we're going to get into than just last night's game.
Yeah.
Namely, Sam Ersson, now named the number one goalie. The Hockey Canada investigation has had a bunch of updates that we want to touch on as well. The alumni game is tonight. There's a lot of stuff to get into. Oh, and by the way, the team is in the midst of a losing streak that could go for a little bit longer. They have not quite murderer's row, but pretty close to it coming up over the next few games. So we're going to see if they can pull the nose up on this thing. But a big thank you to everybody who's joining us. You always love to see, Ant. I personally like to see over 150 people having fun on a morning, on a Friday morning.
Yeah, especially since we have people all over the map, right?
Yes.
So it's different. It's not just 8:30 in the morning like it is for us. Mm-hmm. It's random times for people, including people on the West Coast are up and even at the crack of dawn, and it's middle of the day for our fans over in Europe. So it's crazy, but it's good. It's good. I love it.
And this question from Brandon Ficara is a fair one, and I have not seen anything about it.
I think there's a live stream.
Are they streaming it on the Flyers website?
Yeah, I want to say it's the Flyers website. You're going to make me go into my email now and find.
But people want to know.
Find the email from Kate.
Okay. In the meantime, everybody drop in the comments below where you're checking in from this morning, or maybe it's this evening where you are. Perhaps it is the afternoon. Maybe you're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know. Who's to say? A lot of people checking in, a lot of questions right off the bat. Zach O, though, brings up the most important thing. If you're on YouTube right now, make sure you hit that like button. It's important. David Waitman says, top of the morning, gentlemen. You've got Lee Carasso, good morning. Happy Flyers Alumni Game Day. Bud Stewart was asking before we even got started if we're live, because I don't know if you've noticed this, Ant, but this has been happening a lot with the Press Row Show. We get an entire group of people who start commenting on the show before it even begins.
Yeah.
I think we've built a nice little community, which actually you can meet a lot of these people in the YouTube comments and in the Facebook comments. If you come out to the live show at La Sicilia on March 16th down in Oxford, PA, 5:30, the door is open. Flyers Bruins. We're doing the Press Road Show, big Italian buffet. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are they're still on sale, but we've been selling more and more every day. So by all means, head over to shop.snowthegoalie.com and get your tickets today. Did you find the answer to the question, Anthony?
No, it doesn't say it in the press release. I know that they're doing it because I know it's Brian Smith and Jason Martinez that are doing the broadcast. So
okay, text somebody from the org. Let's get this one figured out.
You want me to text Mert?
You could text Mert. Do you think he'll know? He'll probably just go,
Anthony, I'm not really sure where the game is going to be, but I do know that I'm going to be calling it.
Do you think he'll be awake?
That's that's a good point. No, I don't. Linda Joseph wanted to know why we were held up this morning, Anthony, because I think we started 2 minutes late. You and I were going over the rundown.
It was more 5 minutes late, but
things happen. Things happen.
Yeah.
So
it is. It looks like so. More. Hold on. I'm clicking buttons here.
Jesus.
Oh, that's just
Makes for a good show.
That's just ticket sales. No,
Anthony's going to spend the entire show looking for the answer to this question, but that's what matters.
I will.
I will say, though, it is, I guess, a little bit problematic, though, that there are and there have been so many people asking where the game is going to be shown at. Perhaps it wasn't a good enough job of messaging that to the people. In fairness,
fair.
Will we be live streaming it on the Snow the Goalie channel? No. I think we should have gotten the rights. I think we should have been able to get the rights to do our own stream. I do.
It's a little late for that, but you could.
It's not a regular game. We could just take our camera, take the camera that we use to film ours, and we could put it out at ice level, and people can enjoy it.
Yeah, right. You can go stand in the Zamboni tunnel with the camera. And have to move it every time that there's a they gotta go out and shovel the ice and everything else. You get the hell out of their way and all that good stuff.
I'll ride on the Zamboni. Put me right on the hood. I like Louis here. I was about to go to sleep at 5 a.m. here when I got the Snow the Goalie notification. Officially an all-nighter now. Thanks for joining us, Louis. Appreciate that. Tom Allen is checking in from Atlanta, where we'll never get another NHL team. Oh, you will, pal. Don't worry, Tom.
They want to.
Utah is apparently going to get one. Atlanta will get one.
I think that Utah has a better. I'm not going to say this with 100% certainty because I don't know, but I think that there's a better chance of a relocation to Utah because I don't think the NHL wants to necessarily expand that quickly. I think that they're looking at more of a longer term expansion, which includes Utah, and they'll probably need another city if they're going to expand. You're not going to expand by one, I don't think. I mean, they've done it before. They could go to an odd number of teams. And I think Atlanta's on their expansion list. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a relocation to Utah. And it might make sense if it's the Coyotes. Right?
Donald here with a good point. The IHL, ECHL, and AHL have all been to Utah at some point. So there could be some interest there.
There's a lot of believe me, there's a lot of interest there. The owners of the Utah Jazz, put a big statement out at the wrong
The timing of it was great.
The wrong time. But they've asked the league to begin the process of getting them an expansion team, and they want to put they said they could put a team in as quickly as next season.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. So that's why something like that makes me think that it would be a relocation and not an expansion team because you're not expanding.
Who do you think they would relocate if they could?
The Coyotes is what I was.
You
thinking.
think they actually would move it?
Well,
I thought the Coyotes were trying to work on another stadium again.
They are trying to work. Of course they are.
Or another arena.
Trying. They're playing in a 4,000 seat arena for God's sake at this point, right? And it's not that far away. It kind of keeps them in the general area. It just makes too much sense to me that would make sense to do that, right? But anyway. I love the whole notion of miking up Bundy. It would have been a great thing if it was put together, but it was not put together in advance. So won't happen. But
there's no way. There's no way we would have gotten the whole stream would have gotten taken down. I can't imagine the shit he says out on the ice.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Yeah. Ray had a good point. Just one more thing on this. This is as for expansion, $2 billion. The other 32 owners split up and don't have to share with the players speaks loudly. And he's 100% right on that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Quite right.
That helps.
Quite right.
Anyway, speaking of the game last night,
Do we have to?
Look, 3-0. They lose to Detroit 3-0, right? Yet another loss. And this is kind of what we've been warning people about. Like this was coming. It probably came a little later than even we thought, but this stretch was coming for this team, and they just look like they can't get anything going right now. There's a lot of players who are not playing good hockey at this point.
Yep.
3-0 is 3-0, and you look at those goals. 2 of them were completely fluky goals. That hit off of Morgan Frost's skate and took like a strange curveball direction past Ersson, and then there was that one that goes off of Zamula and goes past him. So that one was going wide of the net, and it hits Zamula and goes in. So you really can't look at the goalie and say, "Yo, what up with that? Why did that? You should have made those saves." Can't be. It has nothing to do with the goalie. They just can't generate offense right now. And it's a lot of things that just aren't working. Torts actually shook up the lineup not just by going 12-6, but he actually shook up the lines during the game. The top line's has been struggling a bit with Coots and TK. They've not been the greatest of late. I thought that for the first time in 10 games, Morgan Frost's line was not good last night. They kind of struggled, especially because Detroit matched up their top line against them, so they kind of got hemmed in a little bit at times. That said, the Flyers still outshot the Red Wings. They outchanced the Red Wings throughout the game. So there were some good things to like about the way they were playing, especially 5-on-5. 5-on-5, the Flyers, I feel like, were the better team last night. I think the Red Wings took advantage of a couple of special teams opportunities. Obviously, one being a shorthanded goal, one being a power play. So there's those things as well. But you can't get shot. I mean, look, we like Alex Lyon, friend of the show, who was on here before. Great guy, absolutely great guy. You want to see the best for him. You root for him because of he's like a little bit of an underdog story, and he's playing well for the Red Wings. But you can't get shut out in that game. No. You scored 6 goals against them the last time you played them, right? I mean, you can't get shut out. So that's the part that's disappointing if you're a Flyers fan today, because that's a game. You may not be a game that you looked at and said, "Oh, that's a win," but that's a game that you look at and go, "Oh, well, we should be able to score," and they didn't. So
it's brutal. It was an overall just dismal effort by the team last night.
I think the effort was there. I don't want to make you. I don't want to. You could maybe want to use different wording, because I don't think it was bad effort. It was just bad execution, if that makes sense.
Dismal.
Yeah, you could say dismal execution if you want to say that. I'm on board with that. Just not
the results were bad. It was just
the effort was there. But
it was an underwhelming game, and it's a game that, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at what the schedule had been going into and what it is coming out of it, it's a game that you needed to win. It's one that I think I said on the Press Row show post game the other night that it's not necessarily a must win in terms of the standings, but it's a somewhat of a must win in terms of, like, you don't want to go into this extended break on like a 7-game losing streak. Or they're at what, 4 now?
4,
5,
it would be
6.
5.
So it'd be a 6. It'd be a 5 game. It'd be a 5. You don't want to go in like that and then have to come out, and then you're automatically starting off, after the extended break with Florida, where you're facing the possibility of extending it. Then you're taking on the Jets, who lead their division. Then it's another one, and then you have Dave Hackstall and the Kraken, and then you get maybe a reprieve with the Coyotes, and then you're back at it with the Maple Leafs. It's not a good stretch. And this team that had maybe been getting a lot of the good luck and a lot of the good bounces is not getting it right now.
Yeah.
And they obviously, there are things that are happening away from the ice that are also probably not helping, and they're probably not helping morale, and they're probably also not. I mean, I have to imagine that to some extent, some of it is weighing on the team. Has to be.
Yeah,
they're only human.
I'm sure it is a little bit. But the beauty of it is that they built themselves a little bit of a buffer. And let's be honest. And we talked about this, right? We've talked about this many, many, many times about how it's important to get off to a good start in your season, because it's easier to get into a good spot and hold it even when you're not playing well, than it is to start slow and climb your way back in. And that's really, I mean, it's basic math. It's all because of the loser point, right? I mean, in hockey, you can lose games and stay where you're at because you're getting a point if you lose in overtime. So, I mean, those things happen. But if you look at it, the Flyers have lost 4 games in a row and not looked good doing so. And yet they're still in 3rd place in the Metro, still 5 points ahead of the Devils, who are in 4th. The Devils have some games in hand and they can make up the gap there. But at the same time, you're looking at it and saying it's harder to fall out. And the Flyers have not lost in overtime here. They've lost 4 straight games, and they're still in 3rd place. And and that's pretty much where they were before they were losing. I know they climbed into 2nd because Carolina was idle there for a couple days, but so with the last win, they climbed into 2nd. But right before that, they were in 3rd place. So here you go. You lose 4 straight, and you're still where you were basically beforehand, right? I mean, still in the thick of this thing and still holding on to a position by 5 points. So that's important to recognize. So it's that, yeah, they can't go on a 10-game losing streak. That would be bad, right? That would not be a good thing.
Would be very bad.
But if, teams are going to go through stretches during the season, it's better to have your stretch after you've built up a comfortable lead, on a playoff position. So that's the one silver lining I think you take out of all this, is that when they come out of this, they're not going to be chasing the playoffs. They're still going to probably be sitting in a playoff spot.
I just want to go back over this really quick because I think that you gave this answer already, but the alumni game tonight will be on the Flyers YouTube channel.
There we go. Flyers YouTube.
And which makes your life so much easier as a fan out there, because you can go from you can do pregame with us on the Snow The Goalie YouTube channel. Then you type in the Flyers thing, and you switch to their YouTube channel for the period. Then you come back to the Snow The Goalie channel for intermissions. Then you go back out, and then you come back to Snow The Goalie channel for postgame.
Hey, Russ, you ever heard of 2 devices?
Nah, don't do that.
You can have one of us up on the TV through your YouTube
Yeah,
app,
but why would you do that?
And the other on your iPad or your laptop, or
we're all about the migration. We like seeing the dips, the ebbs and the flows. That's what we're all about here.
That's you. I don't care. If I'm sitting
we have to figure out what we're going to do though instead of the game cast. See, that's the problem. I'm going to get in touch with somebody from the Flyers tonight because we have to figure out what we're going to put up on the stream instead of having the game. We have to figure out what it's going to be because they're not going to track stats, are they? You know what? Maybe we'll be allowed to point the camera at the scoreboard tonight. Maybe they'll let us do that.
We're in a locker room.
I'm not sitting in there while the game's happening.
No,
are you?
No, but I mean, what are you doing? Intern Andrew, go stand with the camera over there.
Yes, that is his
Go.
purpose. That is his purpose. Intern Andrew, we're going to put him on a dolly, right? We'll put him on like a luggage cart. Right? He'll get some great shots.
Oh,
that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's a big one. And it's the thing that's been happening all week. And there are people who've been asking all kinds of different questions about it in the comments. So I think that we have to have this conversation. So earlier this week, Carter Hart was the second player from the 2018, right? World Junior team, correct? No. Yes? Was it 2018? I don't remember at this point.
Yes.
To take an indefinite leave of absence. The first one was Dylan Dubé, who the Flames kind of put out there as being a mental health thing. What?
Check your phone while you're doing this.
Why am I checking my phone? Ooh, okay. Ooh, Bundy. I love Bundy.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
All right, we're gonna figure this one out.
Yeah.
Bundy might be checking in,
yeah.
Ladies and gents. He might be checking in from the locker room at some point. The big thing here is Dylan Dubé was the first one to take the indefinite leave of absence. Calgary made it sound like it was a mental health thing, said that he was under the care of mental health professionals and that they would like people to respect his privacy at that time. The Flyers then put out their statement, which was essentially Carter Hart's requested an indefinite leave of absence. The club has no further comment at this time, which people were like, whoa, that's a difference. And then it was, what's his nuts, came over from Switzerland.
Alex Fermenton.
Yes. And then 2 guys from the Devils.
Michael McLeod and Cal Foote.
Didn't show up to a team event the night before. And then the following day, they weren't at morning skate. And then the Devils put out a statement that they had both been given an indefinite leave of absence. So that's 5 guys. And people started jumping to a lot of conclusions. They might be right, they might be wrong. There's a lot of things here. Now we, because of not the partnership with the Flyers, but just in general, because we are front-facing people who are members of the media, it is not good for us to speculate for a whole bunch of legal reasons. You guys out there in Fanland who can put up a Twitter account with not your real picture or whatever, you can certainly speculate. I don't imagine anybody's going to come after you for libel. But there have been a lot of people out there who've been trying to piece all of this together. And the Hockey Canada investigation has reopened. It was reopened. The timeline of this was there was the initial investigation. The Ontario police eventually closed that investigation. The victim then went and sued Hockey Canada for over $3 million. And then that case was settled quietly. And then when it became public knowledge that Hockey Canada settled this thing, it caused enough of an outpouring of emotion and anger from a bunch of communities that the London, Ontario police then reopened the case. And I believe that was about 2 years ago. And now you're looking at a situation where finally, after months and months of being told, hey, there's something coming, there's something coming, there's something coming, it finally happens that Rick Westhead breaks the news that the London, Ontario police have given these 5 players anywhere between a week and 2 weeks to turn themselves in. So you get the Rick Westhead report. You get 5 different players, 4 who are active in the NHL and 1 who was abroad who had played in the NHL, all taking indefinite leave of absence, and bingo, bango, bongo. Like, there it was. And so then everybody started going, all right, well, those are the 5. They're all guilty. That's what the Twitter says, right? That's what a lot of the comments on these things on Facebook say. None of these people have currently been charged with a crime yet. They have not been found guilty of a crime yet. Will they be? Who knows? But the fact is, the league has now told all of these teams that any inquiries have to go to the league. So Danny Briere came out this week, and I think we can kind of pivot to this a little bit. Briere was supposed to be doing the mid-season State of the Team report. It was pre-scheduled. It was all there. And you and I kind of looked at each other on Tuesday, and we're like, is he going to go through with it? Like, are they going to have him go through this? Because Carter Hart took the leave, and then you started seeing all the other dominoes falling. And it's like, are they going to really put Danny Briere in front of the media to answer questions, many of which are obviously going to be, is Carter Hart part of this? And by George, Danny Briere went out there on Wednesday, had the press conference, read a statement, prepared statement, that essentially said Carter requested a leave and that any questions that have to do with the investigation, we've been instructed by the league, have to go to the league. Now, Ant, obviously people then said, well, he took this leave and now Danny read this statement about the London, Ontario investigation. Can we now connect 1 and 1? And he's one of the 5 that is being told to surrender to police. Is it a fair thing for people to speculate?
Look, can you connect dots? I mean, yes, everybody can connect dots. I think it's fair to speculate what these events are and how they're connected, right? I mean, I think that dot connecting is very fair. Anything beyond that, though, about what happened, who did what, who's guilty and not guilty, things along those lines, you can't connect any dots yet. You just can't, and that's, in the interest of full disclosure, we've heard things for over a year about this.
Yes.
Literally. I mean, a lot of things that we've heard. Some stories that don't even match up, right? So there's a lot of backdoor speculation, behind the scenes speculation taking place that, and it's part of it is, why you can't report anything and why you can't talk about it really, because it's just we don't know, right? I mean, we're down here in Philly. This is all taking place in London, Ontario. So we really have no idea. But it's fair to say that we've heard about this for the better part of a year and a half at this point. Okay. And so of course we've done our own dot connecting, but still without any kind of knowledge of what exactly is being charged, who exactly is being charged and for what, which we'll find out on February 5th. It would be,
if not before.
Well, yeah, a report might come out before then. If I'm up there, the reporters up in Canada might actually get something out.
That's going to be quite a large live stream audience.
Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will.
It might break the London, Ontario Police Facebook.
Yeah, and the fact that they're doing it on Facebook and not YouTube is like, what are you guys thinking? You should put that on YouTube and not Facebook. Facebook is going to go crashing down.
It's going to be insane.
But yeah, like, I mean, until that comes out, then we can't really dive into speculating, right? And of course, you know, I can almost assure you that once whatever is said, that there's going to be pushback against the police and their report, right? So we're going to hear two sides, and of course, you know, the whole legal system, you know, and you got to treat everybody as treat everything as allegation, right? It's not that nothing that is being said is 100% guaranteed until there's a trial, if it ever gets to that point, right? I mean, there might be some deals cut before it ever gets that far, right? So there's a lot of things that can happen. There's things that the league is going to do that's going to be, you know, that's related to hockey. There's things that the London police is going to say. There's things that the lawyers and the representatives for the players and the players union are going to say. There's going to be stuff from probably from the, what they say, the Crown was what they call it, the Canadian government. There's going to be something that they're going to say. I'm sure Hockey Canada is going to have something to say. There's going to be so many people with something to say, and we're going to all be left to sit here and to sift through it all and make determinations on our own, whether of what's what. And that's that's what.
But like you just mentioned a whole bunch of entities, which is why I think it's going to go to a trial. I know that like typically you try to settle things, but just because of the national nature and the international nature of it, I would be really surprised if there's like a plea deal or if it's settled out of court. I honestly would. I feel like this is going to go the distance now, which is what's the number one thing that we've said this entire time? I even tweeted it the other day. The number one thing is the person who is alleging a crime, this victim, and I always say the victim, and then you get people who say it's an alleged victim. Okay, fine. But this woman is now going to have to go through this trauma and like go through the entire recounting of things.
And I get I get the sense that she's ready for that based off of reading stuff up. Been reading the Globe and Mail and in Toronto, and it sounds like. And there was one, was it Sportico? There was another site that also did like a little bit more of a dive into some of the documents that had been released. Yeah. But like this is going to be a living hell for this woman, and it's going to be bad. But the good news, I guess, is at least there's been motion on it because it's been sitting out there for so long. And I think that that's part of the problem here, Russ, because and this is one of the reasons why I'm not as optimistic as you are that it will reach trial, because when you really look at this has been bungled by so many entities all along the way. I mean, how do you go from what the London police original report where they basically cleared everybody of wrongdoing, right? And didn't reopen the case until after there was public pressure to reopen the case, right? So that's going to be looked at in some way. Like, why did that happen? How did that happen? How do you screw this up and not get it right? Hockey Canada is going to be looked at. Granted, they got a whole new leadership group up there now, so they'll probably survive it. But nevertheless, who else did you pay off? Did you pay off? Was there any other payoff besides just to try and keep the victim quiet? And
Rick West had put out the thing about the other investigation. There's like another Hockey Canada investigation going on at the same time
in Nova Scotia because of
what
guys
a fucking mess. It's an absolute embarrassment. It is so bad on so many levels. And again, I know that it's funny, right? Because on one hand, you get the people who like rush to judgment on everything, and then you get the other people who like rush to like automatically like do the everybody's innocent thing. And like you can live in whichever world you want to live in. But the fact is that like there have been multiple incidents now around Hockey Canada, and there have been multiple incidents around the hockey culture, I guess, just in general, that are very alarming on a lot of levels. And so we'll see where this goes. But
I want to point out something that Bundy has said, and that is, of course, the attacks are going to come on the culture of the sport, right? I mean, you have to. I mean, and it's understandable why. But if anybody thinks that this is the culture of just hockey and not any other sport, is not really paying attention, because this happens with every sport. It just happens with every sport. I think that there is a little bit some differences that you can have in hockey a little bit, because what you do in hockey is there are possibilities to create these national teams of kids in this sport that don't exist for baseball and football. They do a little bit for basketball, but not as much. I mean, there are all kinds of hockey tournaments of young, talented kids who are being brought together from across an entire country, and they're sent all over the place, and they're hanging out together at 18 years old. They start younger than that, right? Some tournaments they have the U16s, right, and everything. So you got young kids basically hanging out all together in another part of the country or in a different country, and being treated like royalty, right? Because that's what, up in Canada, this is the World. We've talked about how important the World Junior Tournament is to the country up there. But I mean, that's what you put in hockey. You have the opportunity to put these things together, and really they're going to make stupid decisions because of the age that they are, right? Yep. And whether it's something as egregious as this, or whether it's something like underage drinking to the point of passing out in your in the bathtub or something like. I mean, anything. There's a bazillion things it could be, but that's the part of the culture that's probably going to be examined the most, because it doesn't exist for the other sports. But that being said, the culture of how athletes feel like they are, untouchable and can get away with more because of who they are, exists in every sport, not just in hockey.
Well, and listen, there's going to be what is ultimately going to happen here, and it depends on, I don't know how big of an outcry it's going to be because it's hockey in the U.S., which is easily the fourth sport. Yeah. But what'll end up happening is, as these players are named, and assuming that connecting dots, right? You have 4 guys that are currently playing in the NHL took leave at the same time. Right? Stands to reason there's like a non-zero chance that one of them is going to end up being a name. Is going to be one of the people that is being requested by the London, Ontario police. Okay? That's connecting dots. Just hypothetically. Let's be very clear. There are going to be questions about how long the NHL knew which names were involved or could have been involved. There are going to be questions about how those players were allowed to continue to collect a paycheck. There are going to be questions between the league and the Players Association with how did you two, both of you, the league and the Players Association, allow these players to play? Because that what the league will say is, well, we weren't going to suspend these guys because the Players Association was going to appeal, and then it was going to be a lengthy and annoying process, and it was also going to probably end up having their names come out. And the Players Association is going to say they're going to advocate because innocent until proven guilty. But the fact remains that if any of these guys who are playing in this league, or the guy who's playing in Switzerland, if any of them end up being the names that have to surrender to police, there are going to be a lot of questions about how they were allowed to collect a paycheck, playing the game of hockey, being around people, having some kind of influence, having their name out there. There's going to be the moral quandary where people are going to say wow, my kid looked up to player, and this person has now spent the last few years living a lie. That this is going to be the narrative that's going to be out there. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be upset on a lot of different levels. So this is a big mess. And no matter what, it is a humongous mess for this league because it's been allowed to happen. So there's that. Oh, we got. Hold on. We'll put a pause on this. Bundy just invited himself on. There he is. Bundy, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear you. Look at it. Say hello. You're live right now.
What's up?
What's up, boys?
We got a meeting in a minute, so I got kind of late. But look at Brad Marsh is elbowing me. Got Bill Meltzer's here. Look at that. He's checking on Morgan Cross equipment section there. We got in the room. So I'm just pulling out to the ice level. I wanted to check in with everybody before the game tonight, but we got a full locker room. Every Stanley Cup winner's here. Most every trainer, guys from the past. And get you out to the ice level here. We're going to have a skate. Madonna was here last night. Apparently she requested an entire new toilet and carpet at NBA 1.
Wait, really?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Are you
serious? That's the life of the rich and famous right there.
Well, we get to.
I'd like a new shitter and a new carpet.
So wait a second. So that's where Russ and I are going to be broadcasting from tonight. So we get to go.
Yeah,
sit
well, you
on
got a
Madonna-
new shitter and a new carpet.
We get to go sit on Madonna's throne. We get to go sit on Madonna. Like her ass was on that, and the next ass that's going to be on it is going to be Russ's. Like that.
The only ass that was on it was Madonna's, and the next one will be Anthony or Russ.
It'll be Anthony. It'll definitely. Bundy, can you tell us about the toilet? Is it 24 karat gold? Is it?
You know what? Let me go take a look right now.
I hope there's not.
This is the new carpet here.
Oh my God,
No,
that really
that
is a
is
new
new.
carpet.
Yeah,
That's
we were just
insane.
Yeah, that's
a new carpet. I don't know where the shitter is, but I don't think. I don't know. Maybe she had one of those portable ones brought in. It's got like diamonds on it. It's pink.
She legitimately requested a new carpet.
Unless it's over here.
Yeah,
Oh, it's tuna.
This is
Where's the new
investigative
shitter
journalism.
Madonna had built? Oh, it was in the other room. Yeah, she did have a shitter built for herself over here. That is true.
Tuna's telling
We
you
talked
it's
about so much more than hockey just here. So the goalie. How you doing, guys? Coming in. Bill Watson, Bill Meltzer. The ladies that get the job done here, say hi to Snow The Goalie. You're live. Flyers locker room, boys.
Help you get dressed tonight, Joe.
Look at this! Wow!
This is great. I love
This
it.
And
gives
that's
you an
accent, right?
Gives you an idea of what the
Daryl
world is like.
Stanley
through the
sitting
eyes of
next to
Bundy.
me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are live. Good to see you, buddy. That's all right. We're trying to get them on. But anyway, so we got a team meeting here, guys, and we'll be checking in tonight. But I wanted to give you a little update. Brad Marsh is starting a meeting right now. Look at this. Here's how a team meeting works. Let's do this,
This is a former.
and then I'll quietly hang up.
Yep. This is great.
All right, there.
Well, good to see you, buddy.
Sooner I talk, sooner I get. We all get to breakfast. So anyhow, hey, welcome to the Flyers dressing room. It's a little different than what we used to tie our skis up in. And as you walk around the room, it's pretty sweet. So take it all in and enjoy it. And you see the Hall of Fame names and pictures up there. And they put Recky's up yet. I guess he's not officially in yet till tomorrow. But anyhow, Mark's connecting flight was canceled, so he'll be here this afternoon. And
Chemo.
Say-
Right, chemo.
Hey, how you doing? Chemo.
once again,
Chemo?
See, I told you, full access. Daryl Stanley. Remember this man?
Errol Stanley. Absolutely remember that. 1980s. That's
You're live on a podcast right now, Brian. Okay, see you later, boys.
All right, I'll let you go. All right, bye.
See ya. That's
So
awesome.
Bundy causing mayhem in the locker room. Isn't that everything?
I'm telling
Hard-hitting
you,
journalism.
The first thing I'm doing when I walk into that building tonight is finding Madonna's toilet. I swear to God, I am so caught up by that she had a brand new toilet put in just for the concert last night.
It makes sense though, because our old colleague at Crossing Broad, Phil Kydell, went to the concert last night, and she was over an hour late. Now, like, notoriously, she's late for things, but it was over an hour after the concert was supposed to start is when she started. And so I'm wondering if that's what this was. Dave Waitman, shitter's full. Bundy with a report. I don't remember where we were before, but I think that
Yeah.
listen, I think we've tried to
I don't
touch on.
think we can go back into the serious
No, I don't think we
conversation
can.
after we just talked about Madonna's
Hey, you want to talk
shitter.
about a shitty situation? Hey, but yeah, we'll obviously keep people updated on it as it happens. It's just that is its own mess, and February 5th is when we're supposed to get clarity on it. We'll see. And let me kind of flip this back around really quick. There are questions, obviously, about a few things. Now that Carter Hart is presumably gone, short-term, long-term, who knows? Who's to say? Sam Ersson's the number one goalie. Cal Peterson is the backup. I asked you the other night on the Press Row show, if Hart ends up being out longer than they expected, is this a situation where they could potentially look to pick up a different goalie to be the backup, or do you think they're going to roll the rest of the season with Cal Peterson? Have you gotten a feeling from anybody yet about, like, will we see a Felix Sandstrom? Could they potentially bring over a Kolosov? Like, where are we a few days into this absence?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and I don't think that there's anything that's going to be beyond what they have in place right now. And I know you wanted to bring up something that, was out there and people have been talking about, that, oh, these other players have been, removed from the roster and Carter Hart still has not. I think it's just
he is the only one on an active NHL roster who has not been removed from the team's page.
Right. Well, the better thing to do, rather than look at it that way, you go to Cap Friendly, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys on those other teams have been moved to non-roster. They're still getting paid. They're still there, right? They're still listed, but they're listed as non-roster players. And I think ultimately that's what's going to happen with Carter as well. I just think that it hasn't happened yet because right now Peterson is here on an emergency recall. So I think that this is probably tied into some paperwork stuff, because Peterson can't get sent back down without going through waivers, except for the fact that he's here on an emergency recall. So there's a lot of just, I think, technicalities that are tied to that. So I wouldn't make a big thing of it, but I think it's probably something that people are noticing and seeing, and I think that's just what you got to see. Let's be honest, when they traded for Cal Peterson, I'm pretty confident that one of the things that they told his agent at the time was that he would get a legitimate opportunity to play NHL games with the Flyers. And I think that they're going to give him a chance to play some games. Now, whether it ends up being something that they do beyond March 8th, which is the trade deadline, we'll see. But I do think that at least for the next month, 5 weeks or so, Cal Peterson's going to get an opportunity to be the backup for the Flyers. And he'll probably get a handful of games there. But yeah, I mean, there's, someone mentioned earlier, and it was way earlier in the chat, so I'm not going to go back and look for it. And I apologize for whoever it was. I would like to give you your props for saying it, but it's like, oh, well, if you connect the dots and look, they were preparing for this. And we've talked about this, right? I mean, how many times have we talked about all the stuff
this a lot
that they've done with the goaltending, right? With the drafting of goalies, the trading for goalies, the signing of goalies. Like, so yes. Yeah, I mean, they've obviously been preparing for it and are ready for it. This is not.
They've been preparing for it in the same way that every team that has had a player that was on that team,
correct,
whose name has been floated in circles as potentially being somebody who might be of interest, has known.
Yeah,
I think that's another fair way to put it, right? Like,
1,000%.
Put it this way: none of these teams are caught off guard by these leave of absences, assuming they're related to the Hockey Canada investigation.
No, correct.
Nobody's surprised. They've all known. And in fact, I think it's probably fair to say that because of the ebbs and flows of the police department and the league and the Players Association and all the appeals, there have been multiple times that these teams have likely been told, hey, something is coming soon. Remember, back before the draft, there was even word that there could be something coming down around the draft. And then it was, there might be something coming during the summer, like during the downtime. Then it was, is it going to happen right before the season? Carter Hart was at least one of the guys who put their Instagram profile private at the beginning of the year. Again, not saying that he's part of this, guilty, all that. But like that was also a thing that some people saw as a precursor or a potential like, somebody has talked about something. Again, this happens with athletes. It happens with famous people all the time. You go private, you go public, you go private. Not saying it's connected, but a lot of these different things that have happened over time, there have been murmurs behind the scenes that like, okay, something could be developing, something could be coming. And then you get word a week later, there was an appeal filed. There was a motion to like suppress the names or whatever it was, to redact the names of any kind of document. There's been, and it's been months, almost a year probably since, and when it was about a year ago, right? Is when we started hearing that like, there could be something bad here.
I first heard rumor of this in the summer of 22.
Okay.
First time I heard rumor of it. It really seemed like it was going to happen. Everything that we're talking about now, my impression was that it was going to happen at the end of last season and into the summer of 23. Like that was my impression, and it didn't, right? And for whatever reason, it didn't happen until now. again, I think it was a matter of let the police do their work, let the police decide when they're ready, and then once they're ready, then everybody else will get in line with what they're going to put out. Because I think once that press conference happens on February 5th, I think you're going to see everybody's reports come out. The NHL's report, Hockey Canada report, anything.
It's going to be a lot.
The Canadian government, like everything all at once is going to come.
Yep.
So that's really what it is. So,
yeah. The one thing, there's a lot of people asking, and there are people noting over here. No matter what happens, and this is just how this works. It's not just how it works here. It's how it works in Canada and everything. Anybody who ends up being named in this is going to follow them the rest of their life. Guilty or innocent. Again, we're not assigning guilt. We're also not granting innocence. We have no clue. But this is going to be tied to all of these people from now until the end of their playing career and much further. I mean, some of them might end up facing actual criminal charges. Like this is far beyond hockey. But like this will follow each and every one of them. And it's such a shame on so many levels. So we'll see. We're going to see what happens, and we'll let this play out, and then we'll comment on it when we have a clearer idea of what's going on.
Speaking of commenting, are you going to do the latest 5-star reviews?
Do you have them?
I see 2. Well, actually, I see 3, but one of them's not a 5-star. So it's someone complaining that we are too focused on YouTube and not on the podcast feed anymore.
I did see that, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, there are 2.
I'm going to have to pull it up. There was something else we were going to talk about today, wasn't there?
I don't know. It's been almost an hour, Russ. You told me we're going to do 30 minutes. Now we're at 47.
Well, this is what happens. It's me and you, pal.
Yeah.
It's me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together. Thank you. Thank you. I see the one that's too focused on YouTube. Was there one before that or no?
No.
Yes, there was. Did we read Donovan Buck? Yes, we did. We read Donovan Buck on the last show. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm going to see.
Bless you.
Thank you so much. This is by McNitcham or McNickham. 5 stars. Look forward to every episode. This has become my go-to Flyers podcast, and I hate days when there isn't a new episode. You guys are like classic hockey mullet, offering some business and some party for a complete package. I've been a Flyers fan since the early 90s as a kid. Bundy's days. My dad raised us right. He was there when they won in 74. I love the different perspectives you each bring to the table. Keep up the great work. And keep your chin up, Ant. The true fans and your colleagues know you're killing it. One request. Can you offer the Snow the Goalie logo mug in a different exterior color or change the font color? I'd love one, but it's hard to read.
Oh.
Allison.
Thank you.
I think we can do that.
Yeah.
I certainly think that we can do that.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Thanks, Allison.
No. I don't know what this means. What does this mean from Ed? Russ looks like he belongs in a band called the Turtles. I look like a turtle?
I think it's your haircut.
I look like a turtle? Just a regular fade.
It's that fade. Yeah.
It's the fade. I look like a turtle? I don't want to be bald. I really don't want to be bald. I'm very worried about that. Baldness doesn't run in my family, but I am worried. I have a 5 head, a 6 head, a 7 head. What was the other 5-star review that you think you saw? Because that was the only one I see.
Oh man, you're gonna make me go back in there.
Our friend Lee C left 6 more reviews, but I don't see another one. You can let me
No, the Donovan Buck one we did not read. We read the Seek Up 1732.
I swore we read the Donovan Buck one. Okay, I'll read it anyway.
Yeah.
5 stars from someone that listens full time. Unlike some, I listen to every pod. I also read a lot and listen to the team and other teams' news and pods hearing a lot. This pod is my top podcast up there with Jason. Ignore the people that are hearing things from one side and closed-minded. Would recommend this to anyone wanting to listen. Keep up the awesome work. Love you 3. We definitely read that one on the last show, but that's okay.
I wasn't on it when you read it. That might have been something you read with Bundy. I don't remember hearing, but thanks, Donovan.
Fake news.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you wanted to get to, my friend?
Yeah, my work day.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. Just so that we can go back over this really quick before we, do whatever we're going to do. We will be back tonight. So you get some Snow the Goalie in the morning, some Snow the Goalie at night. It's good stuff. So we'll be doing the alumni game. We'll have a pregame show. We'll have intermissions. We'll have postgame. The expectation is that there will be Flyers alumni hopping on and off the show during each of those shows. I fully expect a very sore Bundy to be getting on the show multiple times.
He will be out of breath. I can promise you that when he comes up. Because let's be honest, they only have 7D, and one of them is Joe Watson, and I'm not certain Joe Watson will play a ton of minutes. So Bundy's going to take pretty much a regular shift. And they have him listed as the second pair defenseman with Dennis Seidenberg. So, so he's going to get a pretty regular shift out there, and he's going to be out. He's going to be all out of breath.
T from the 203. Yes, the alumni game is going to be streamed on the Flyers YouTube page, on their YouTube channel. Becky, by the way, it's not the stupid podcast. Be careful. All right? Don't misquote it. We are not the stupid podcast. As John Tortorella once said, we are
that silly podcast.
Silly. It's very important. Very important distinction. Okay. I saw that Hitchcock will not be on the bench.
No, Chief is the one coach, and who the hell else was the other coach?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But it will not be
matter.
Hitchcock. I have to tell you, I forgot to do this, but I'm absolutely going to.
Robert Esch is the other coach.
Robert Esch, because Esch was supposed to be in net, and then I think he got hurt.
Yeah, so he's going to be a coach instead.
Yeah. I do have it. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to try to do something here before we head out. But
I love when you always try something when we're live.
Well, what's the worst that'll happen? You know, what's the worst that could happen? I want you to give people an idea one more time. There's one other thing that we have going on. It's a live show. Can you give people the idea, the details about the show?
You mean the thing in Oxford?
The thing in Oxford. Can you give people?
You're making me do this again. We already did this.
I am. I'm just checking it. I know, but I want you to do it again.
Shop.snowthegoalie.com. Get tickets for the press road
I need you to
show.
stall because I'm working on something, Anthony. Pick up the cues.
Oh, it's so terrible. By the way, I'm going to answer Chris Bishop's question.
Okay.
Will Brian Propp be in attendance? Brian Propp is playing. Brian Propp is playing in the game. So
that's going to be great.
Yes. And I love that Donald Biordi remembers that Robert Esch for a short time was known as Silent Bob. He didn't like talking to the media, and so he used to just not answer our questions. He would just sit there taking his pads off and just not talk. He would nod or shake his head. He was Silent Bob.
Silent Bob.
Silent Bob. He was a great guy. But nevertheless.
You know what you're not going to be hearing a lot of tonight?
Here we go. You ready? You got... You took all that time to do the Bundy Ken Hitchcock impression.
I did. So listen, I think if Bundy starts slacking at the game tonight, all right, I'll bring a Bluetooth speaker with me and I'll put it out at ice level, and then he'll just hear.
The funnier part about
that. I actually have that whole thing clipped. Should I play the clip?
The funniest part about it, and you play the clip, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. For those who didn't see it, the funniest part about the clip is not only the impression's great, but our reactions in that clip is just priceless because we could not contain ourselves. You had to walk off camera.
I legitimately almost peed my pants.
Yeah, it was rough.
All right, you know what? Well, I'm waiting for it to process here. I'm uploading it as we speak. But this happened the other day on the Press Row show because we were talking about the alumni game, and Bundy was so excited about it. And I asked him a very simple question: would you still play if Ken Hitchcock were the coach? And we all know that Bundy didn't exactly see eye to eye with Hitch. He has not exactly spoken in loving, glowing terms about Hitch. So let's go to that clip from the Press Row show.
You mean players talk badly about their coaches? That happens?
No, they don't do that. That never happens. Nope, definitely not. All right, here we go. Hey, what, Bundy? I know that you're committed to playing in the game. What if Hitch is behind the bench?
No, he ain't going to be here.
There's not going to be a lot of room then. Next question.
I bet you Hitch likes buffalo chicken pizza.
Hey, could someone bring me out some of those buffalo wings and some pizza?
We were talking
God,
about.
it's so good here in Philly. I love eating pizza and wings.
We were talking about pizza pregame, Bundy, and Russ was trying to ask me if what kind of
I want pepperoni and sausage on my pizza. Why is this not here?
Russ was asking me.
You look like you're in the ice capades. Get me the pizza.
Russ was asking if you like chicken on pizza.
No.
Right? It's ridiculous,
No,
right?
I don't like that.
It's absurd. It's not pizza.
Yeah.
It's like a meal on your pizza.
Yeah.
See? He doesn't like the chicken on the pizza either.
All right. Second period coming up.
I have to tell you, I did not expect to hear Hitch's mating call on the first.
Hey, guys. You're playing a little light tonight. Well, at least we're playing, Hitch. Where'd you ever play? He played bubble hockey at the back of Canadian Tire. All right, that's it. I gotta go. You gotta.
We'll have hockey analysis in the second intermission.
Yes.
Just go, Russ.
All right, go back to second intermission.
That was so good.
I want to point out that I have a tear over here again. Those reactions are 100% genuine because Bundy has some. I didn't realize this. Bundy has a lot of impressions. I had no idea. And the one day, he did a torts at the end of the press row post game. I don't remember which game, but he did it, and it sounded exactly like torts. Like it was scary. He had it was like perfection. Okay. And I looked at him and I was like, dude, like, why have you never done that on the show? He goes, wow. Well, he does this thing. And he says that he was the one who always did the impressions in the locker room. And he's like, I have so many more than you know. And I got really excited about the possibilities. And then it was that next game. That's when this happened, the Hitch voice. And he's done the Hitch voice before, but that was at another level because you're in the arena and you can be as loud as you want up at, outside of the Snow the Goalie sportsbook. And my God, I haven't laughed that hard
It was so
in
good.
so long. Legit. Oh, Andrew Foss with a great idea. If we're going to dress up intern Andrew all the time, can we get Bundy to dress up as Hitch for the tailgate? I don't think so. I can't imagine.
I keep suggesting to Russ that I call Hitch and have him be a surprise guest on the show with Bundy.
I think Bundy would be livid.
I think it'd be hysterical.
I don't know what that would be. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right.
I
think it's about time to go. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. Don't forget, we'll be back tonight. If you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of Snow the Goalie, if it's blowing your mind, if right now on the inside you're just saying to yourself, just remember there's nothing quite like enjoying your morning and your evening
That
with
silly podcast.
So for Ant, who's on Twitter at AntSanPhilly, I'm Russ Joy on Broad. Bundy is on Twitter at Therien6. Follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. Google Podcasts is going away, becoming YouTube Music, so you can go follow us over there. And then obviously subscribe, ring the bell, get notifications on YouTube on the Snow the Goalie YouTube channel. We'll be back post-game or pre-game, intermissions and post-game for the alumni game. The alumni game, again, will be on the Flyers YouTube channel. So you can kind of go back and forth. You can do what Ant said before. Put one on the TV, one on your laptop, or one on your phone or whatever. But we'll be back tonight. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We will talk to you all very, very soon. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'm sorry, but I am working on making this a lot less loud. But for now, hold your ears.